I want to talk to you today about some of my thoughts around fasting. And fasting, I'm really going to talk about water fasting, as in consuming nothing but water for a long period of time. For most people, that sounds like a bit of a wild idea. And you might think that you can only last a few days without food or whatever. But the reality is that human beings can last quite a long time without food. And obviously, we've seen evidence of that in disasters, in war zones, and all sorts of situations where people had very little food for very, very long periods of time. The longest person ever supposedly to fast was almost a year. Actually, it was a guy in Scotland, in Dundee. Yes, in Dundee, who was a really fat guy, and he basically went into a doctor and he said, "I'm going to not eat until I get down to a normal weight. And if you want to test me, you can, but I'm going to do this anyway." So, literally, this is the story. So, supposedly he did, but he did take. I think he took a few nutrients and things like that. I don't think it was a complete water fast for the whole time. Um, and he did this for a long period of time, right? So it wasn't 100% water fast, but he had some kind. I don't know if nutritional yeast or something he took, or something strange with some nutrients in it or something, to get electrolytes or whatever. So that happened. But certainly people can go for long periods of time fasting. The other thing I want to address is that immediately you might think, well, this is eating disorders. This is restrictive eating. This is anorexia, bulimia, and it can be. To be quite frank, it can be. There are people that will hide their eating disorders under the guise of fasting, and that's sad. It's sad for the people who legitimately are trying to fast for good reasons, and it's sad for the people who are trying to hide the fact that they've got eating disorders and they're fasting when they don't have to, when they really shouldn't be. If you've got a history of eating disorders, I would really suggest you don't fast. Ever. Ever, ever in your life. If you've ever been an anorexic, bulimic, or been anything like that, never fast. Never. You're off the list. You don't fast. You should never be accepted into a fasting clinic. I mean, ever. Like, ever in your entire life. Because you're so much more at risk of this leading you to harmful behaviour and basically killing yourself, which is what anorexia can do. It kills people. So you should never fast. Not for one day, not for half a day, not any time fast. If you have any kind of eating disorder tendency. But that is the risk with fasting. Another group of people that shouldn't fast are people that are looking to lose weight. Fasting is probably one of the worst things long term to do to lose weight. It's a bad, bad, bad idea. It doesn't work. That does not work for losing weight. It does in the short term, but not in the long term. If you're looking to lose weight, do not fast. Get onto a lifestyle where you are losing weight consistently and stay on it. But consistently is the word, and that's what's kind of hard for people. So that's addressing some of those concerns. But what are the benefits to fasting if that's all the kind of negative side to it? The benefits to fasting can be incredible transformations for people that have chronic disease and really chronic ill health and symptoms of disease, pain, really terrible digestion problems, maybe even mental health issues, obviously issues with their heart, lungs, joints, all that kind of stuff that comes with long-term chronic disease problems, usually caused by diet and lifestyle. These can be helped by fasting. Now, these can be helped by just changing your diet as well, but the philosophy of fasting is that fasting is faster, deeper process, more cleansing, whatever it is, because you are getting rid of food, so you're not digesting any food. Okay? So you get the food out of your system, you get the food out of your life, you free up a whole lot of energy, and the body is able then to put that energy towards healing. This is the philosophy of fasting. uh, digesting food is the body's biggest use of energy. So especially when we're eating poor foods. So when we fast, we're freeing up energy. That's one of the philosophies of fasting. But another idea of fasting is that basically in nature, for example, there's a squirrel here that's jumping around. If that squirrel was to fall out of the tree, which squirrels rarely do, but if it was and it was to land on something and injure itself, the idea is that to fast is like the natural instinct of the animal. The body would stop wanting to eat, you'd want to just stay in the same place, and the body would start to heal, and it would be the quickest way for the body to heal itself would be to fast, to go without food. And you can go into a fasting state after a couple of days, your body doesn't really, you don't really feel as hungry anymore. So this is the whole principle, philosophy, idea of fasting. When I first got into raw vegan diet, I learned about fasting, and it blew my mind, and I heard the testimonials of people, and I thought it was amazing and life transformational and all that stuff, and I kind of thought, this is something I want to do. But I was more interested in focusing on getting on the raw vegan diet first. Not sure why exactly, but I didn't really want to do too much fasting, and I never really have. Only sometimes on days when I didn't feel like eating, like there was just almost felt sick to eat. You know, I've had days like that, and therefore I just didn't eat. But apart from that, there's only a few times I've done a fast. Sometimes because someone else wanted to do it, sometimes because I was with someone that wanted to do it, so we did it together or whatever, and just did a short-term fast, and that's fine, you know. And there's nothing wrong with a short-term couple of days, you know, no problem. If you start to go longer than that, you really want to go probably to a place where you get supervised, where someone can watch you and everything, but there's still a risk to fasting. There is a risk to it, and that is sort of the problem with it. You are putting your body under stress. You are essentially putting yourself closer to death in a way, because you're taking away your body's food supply for a long period of time. You're losing a lot of weight. Eventually, your body starts to eat into, you know, the essential tissues. Of course, you're not probably going to go that long. No one can really go that long, but you're going towards that, you know. And as much as people say that fasting is totally healthy and all that stuff, I'm not 100% convinced anymore, personally. A friend of mine was saying this to me recently. She said she used to want to fast, but now she feels like she didn't want to put her body under that stress. That's how I feel now as well. I kind of like the idea of it, but I also see it as maybe potentially stressful to the body, especially long term. Now, I want to tell you about some of the experiences I've had of people that I've seen that have done fasts. I believe that a lot of people that I've seen who have done fasts, particularly young women, in their teens, in their early 20s, were doing it to lose weight. That's what I felt, looking at it. And there's nothing, you could say to me, well, that's a legitimate reason. Maybe it is. Not to me, I don't think, because I don't think it's a good way long term to lose weight. But to go through such a process, and for many people as well, I think they also think that it's maybe going to be a spiritual, emotional detox. And that's something I don't like about this as well, that people feel like there's something trapped inside them that's going to come out by fasting. There's some spiritual, emotional detox that'll happen. I want to address that for a second. Listen, if you've got an issue with your parents, you know, a colleague at work, I don't know, something that happened in your life, your boyfriend, your ex-boyfriend, your husband, like, this isn't all going to be sorted by fasting. Honestly, all these emotional things you have to deal with. You have to address them. You have to feel those feelings. You have to maybe go and speak to people, and, you know, the stuff that's happened in your life, you need to come to some kind of peace about it. It's very difficult, but it's not going to happen through fasting or detoxing. I've seen too many people that are like, they're going to get out all the demons by fasting. No, you're not. You really aren't. You might feel high fasting for a while or whatever, but you're not going to get out all the demons. They're there until you confront them and deal with them. That's a separate thing. Fasting for people that have chronic disease, that have, arthritis or something, amazing. Can be absolutely amazing. For people, I mean, I'd love to see people with multiple sclerosis go on fasting, with like, what's that thing? Types of arthritis. Um, the one that Stephen Hawking had, where he ended up in, when he was, I'd love to see a test where they do get some people who are at the early stages of that kind of thing, put them on a 30-day fast. Let's see what happens. Maybe we'll stop them from dying young and losing all, control of their body. Maybe we'll stop that. Maybe it's worth a test. Do you know what I mean? So maybe we'll reverse some Alzheimer's people, some dementia people. I wish I could have got my gran to do a 30-day water fast when she started to get diagnosed with dementia. Didn't happen. Now she's in a home, fully way down the path of dementia. So it's unfortunate, because I think it would have probably reversed it. But hey, who cares? The doctors don't care. My family didn't seem to care too much about the idea. Okay, put her in a home, fair enough. Let her lose her life. Great. Fantastic, you know what I mean? But I think it might be worth trying. That's when I think a water fast is essential. That's when I think a water fast is like, that's the thing to try. Cancer, not really very, really not very positive on cancer being killed by anything, to be honest. Especially water fasting. There might be some cancer. There might be a cancer that would be healed by water fasting. I've just never seen it. Never seen it. As far as I'm concerned, if you got cancer, obviously go to the healthiest diet you can, but it's probably not going to cure it or reverse it. You're probably going to need, the operational side of things, the chemotherapy and all that. And I know a lot of my followers and stuff and people watching this are going to say, "Oh my God, chemotherapy? What? Chemotherapy is evil." Okay, calm down, guys. You've fallen for some conspiracy theory nonsense. It's maybe not the best thing ever out there in the world. But these things don't work a lot of the time. They work a small amount of the time. But if you've got millions of people with cancer, then that's tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people's lives that are saved. So that's the way they look at it. And would you have got all those people onto a raw vegan diet? Who knows? Would it have helped? Who knows? We don't have any evidence on that. And none of the natural health stuff, don't even get into that. It's all nonsense, Oh, you're going to heal cancer with B17. It's all rubbish, This ain't going to happen. So, anyhow, we get back to fasting. I don't see fasting as a cancer cure, unfortunately. It's just never been seen to be that. There's been so much fasting in the last 100 years, but you've never seen cancer people fasting people come out and say, "Look, we've got these different people that have reversed cancer." It's not happened. It just hasn't happened. And go and ask Lauren Lockman, Doug Graham, and True North Health Centre. Go and ask them all if you like. I'm pretty sure they don't have that many people that have reversed cancer. But some of those autoimmune diseases, yeah, some of those long-term chronic diseases that have destroyed, the brain and all that, yeah, I think we've got a good chance. So, if you were to come to me and say, "Ronnie, should I fast?" and you trusted my opinion, if you were one of those candidates, severe autoimmune conditions, you're in pain, arthritis, all these kind of things, I'd be like, yeah, great idea. If you've tried everything else and it's not worked out, if you've done a raw vegan diet for a while and it's not fully healed yet, go for it. Go for a fast. But I don't think there's a lot of other people that I would at this stage be promoting to go and do fasting. It's maybe something you do on your own for a day or whatever. If you don't feel good, if you don't feel like eating, that's fine. But people get into this cycle of fasting and fasting and fasting and fasting, and then they binge, and then they feel so bad that they want to fast again, and then they think they're going to lose weight and they don't. They put on weight because they binge more. It doesn't work. Any of these things are not worthwhile. What's worthwhile is getting on a consistent lifestyle. and not looking for this magical spiritual high and this spiritual like enlightenment of, you know, fasting, detox, enlightenment. It's going to detox all your emotions out. It's going to detox all your past problems out. It's going to detox all your stresses out. No, it's not. And I've just, I know so many people that have fasted by this point. Do you know how many of them are bigger, heavier than they were before they fasted now? Now, that doesn't mean that it happened even a year after fasting, but 5, 6, 7 years later, they're not particularly healthy. They're overweight. They're not on a vegan diet anymore. They're not exercising. They might not be happy. It didn't change their life. What changes a life is your consistent diet long term. They never consistently got on a raw vegan diet. You know? And fasting will not get rid of your binging. It won't get rid of your negative negative habits with food. It won't. It really won't. But there are some people who it's life saving for and life changing. It's a great thing. I just don't like seeing 5 young women at a fast. I'm like, why? What are they doing? Unless they've got some kind of condition, fair enough. And then young guys and like I don't know. It's just the way I look at it. Might change my mind. Open to your thoughts and opinions. Feel free to put your thoughts down below. I do not recommend that you go away and become a fasting lifestyle person, that you live on air, that you fast all the time, that every time you feel bad you fast, that every time you feel some emotion you fast. I don't recommend it. What I do recommend is you come to UK Fruit Fest if you want to learn more about the raw vegan lifestyle, fruitfest.co.uk to learn more about that, and feel free to put some information and questions and stuff down below and interact, and I'll see you in the next video.